What's up, everybody? I'm Hunter here, and I'm a film nerd bringing you guys a movie review again. And this is for the movie Get Out. I know I'm real late for this movie. Just haven't got a chance to watch it. I watched it, I think, a few months ago. Came back and watched it just now, and decided to do a video about it. So, Get Out is directed by Jordan Peele of Key and Peele fame. This is his first his directorial debut, and it is a psychological thriller horror comedy mix. The premise is an interracial couple by the name of Chris and Rose go on a road trip to meet Rose's parents, who are obviously white. And when you get there, man, it's just all eerie because, you know, they're surrounded by black helpers. And they even bring that up in the movie. He's like, the dad's like, I know what this looks like. You know, white guy with black servants. And I love that they brought up that, you know, how that looks to the outside world. And then pretty much you dive deep into more of the psychological type thriller, and then it goes into straight horror towards the end. I'm going to get into spoiler territory because I feel like the movie's been out for so long that if you wanted to see it by now, you would have seen it. But this is a spoiler alert. If you guys do not want to know what happens in Get Out, then go watch Get Out, come back and join in the discussion. But this movie is amazing. I love this movie. Like, the major twist at the end is you find out that Rose keeps bringing all these black boyfriends to the home. The mom hypnotizes them and then keeps them there forever to use as pretty much slaves. And, you know, you find that out when Chris is going through the photos, and it's the photos of the black servants or the black helpers that are working at the house. They have one for Georgina, which is the housemaid. They have one for you know, just a whole bunch of people. Roger, a lot of them. And then it gets into some horror territory where it's just like, you know, Chris has to escape that house or he's pretty much dead. Another character, one of my favorite characters in this whole movie was Chris's best friend. I think his name was Rod. You know, that dude cracked me up every time he was on screen. Yeah, because he kept saying what, you know, the audience is thinking. We're just like, dude, get out of that house now. This does not look good. And, you know, he keeps saying that, but Chris doesn't listen to him. So let's go over all of my pros. The first pro, I love the social commentary on this movie, because it's not just the interracial couple and blah blah blah, but how they do the silent racism is just amazing. You know, it's those people that don't think that they're racist, but they end up being racist by the comments that they say. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's something like that. But just, you know, for example, if, let's say, a black guy was there, you know, Chris, and, you know, they're like, oh, you go to college, what for? Basketball? They already assumed basketball because of, you know, it's a stereotype. But the way that this movie does it is so good, because you know, the dad is always trying, you know, he starts off by like, my man, what's going on? And you know, saying he would vote for Obama a third term if he could, and that just cracked me up a bit. But you start diving deep into the family psyche. One of the greatest scenes, the most heartfelt scene, was with Chris and Rose when they're talking about the mom. Chris's mom died in a hit and run accident or hit and run incident, and Chris is talking to her about, if I would have done something, if I would have called 911 or if I would have contacted somebody, because we come to find out that his mom didn't die initially from the hit and run attack, but she laid there in the cold by herself and then she bled out. And just the way he breaks down to her and he's like, I should have done something, and it really tugs your heartstrings, because we all wish we could go back and fix our mistakes, and we know we can't do that. Another pro I love is the comedy in this movie. The comedy in this movie is real subtle, but when it hits perfectly. And there's not a lot of comedy moments, and most of the comedy moments come from Rod, and it's just sprinkled in there. It's a perfect amount of lighthearted comedy. But yeah, the comedy was great. Another positive I love, another pro, is the story itself was so well. It was woven, but from a bit of comedy here. Now we need a psychological thriller. Now we need this. Now we need that. The writing was just on point. The directing is incredible. Jordan Peele, for his first feature film, did amazing, and you can't fault him for that. He did awesome. Another thing I love is the connection between Rose and Chris is really good. I love the way they contrast each other, especially towards the beginning. One of the very first scenes is when Chris is asking Rose, do they know I'm black? And she goes back with, oh yeah, hey mom and dad, my black boyfriend is going to come down, just to let you know he's black. And just that banter that they have. Another good line is when they're in the car before they hit the deer, and Chris is talking to Rod, and she goes on, Rose talks to him over speaker, and they just they start doing the play flirting back and forth in front of Chris. Chris goes, get your own girl, hangs up on him. Just the chemistry of the cast is amazing. Another positive I can think of is just how the movie seems to go from from a lighthearted, love type story, into a social commentary about racism and about how blatant it is. And a blatant racism was after they hit the deer and they called 911. The cop asked for Chris's driver's license. Excuse me, guys. Asked for Chris's ID and license instead of Rose's. Rose goes, while he wasn't driving, he goes, I didn't ask if he was driving. But Rose defends him and says that, this is bullshit, you don't have to show him. And just that great commentary of racism that's still alive today, It sucks, but it's still out there. But yeah, I can't think of any negatives. If the only thing I can think of is the actor who plays the brother of Rose was kind of like overplaying it a bit, but if you look at the family, it kind of makes sense. But I think the actor overdid it a bit. But that's just a minor nitpick. I had to find one negative. But this movie was awesome. Like I said, love the social commentary, love the comedy, love how it's a psychological thriller, makes you think about what's going on. The ending is real good with, you know, Rose trapping all the boyfriends and then using them to using them for slavery or whatever. And just, there's a lot more that I left out from this movie, but we're going over 10 minutes. That was my review. I got it rated. I'm going to give Get Out a 9.5 out of 10. I usually don't go for 10 out of 10s unless it's a really, really, really good movie. And Get Out was damn near close to being a perfect movie. Alright guys, so tell me what you think in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Film Nerd. And yes, as you guys can tell, I have, it's not just a blank wall anymore. I have my Star Wars poster hung up, my Flash poster, and of course, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm going to knock these things down a bit so you guys can see them, straighten them up, and you guys will have a new set in about a few days. Alright, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tomorrow I am doing a movie trivia showdown. Scott Mantz versus Hal Rudnick. So guys, make sure you tune in and watch that. We always have lots of fun. See you guys soon. Peace, y'all.